Friday. How are you guys? Oh my goodness, I'm happy to see your faces. I can't see your faces, but if I could see them, my happiness would be so overwhelming you couldn't watch. Hi, Enlighten. If you're there, leave a comment in the Rumble Rant section. If you are watching on Roku, Apple, or Fire Stick, you can hit the pause button. And when you hit the pause button, my channel name will come up and you can click on that and follow me. Also, what will come up is a thumbs up or a thumb down. Thumbs down. Hit that thumbs up. It helps me. We get like a penny, a thumbs up, or something like that. And it helps kind of pop us up in the algorithm so other people can find us. It's a great no cost way that you can support the show. If you want to leave a YouTube super chat or a Rumble rant, you can do that. There's a little $ below the comment box there, the where the Rumble rant is, not the comment section that I can see when it's closed. But in that chat section, you can just hit the $, enter your payment information. My payment information's in there. I've never had any issues. And I tip on a lot of shows, and you can tip there. If you don't want to tip there, you can go to the description section, and there are my PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo links. So that's all the housekeeping. I am doing okay. As you see, I have a weak voice. I don't know what I give up. I should have started talking an hour before the show to warm it up. I'm home by myself all day, though. Who am I going to talk to? I could have answered when my brother called, but I was busy when that was going on. But anyway, happy Friday. I wanted to share just some fun things with you tonight that made me happy. Well, thank you, Riding Shotgun. Shiba dog dressed in traditional outfit, waving Japanese fans. What is that? I'll take it, love, whatever it is. That's awesome. Oh my goodness. Well, I didn't see that comment coming. In a million years, I couldn't have guessed that one. All right, let me show you this. Funny notes written by people who were not pleased. And hold on, let me pull this up. You don't even have any idea what it means. This is my kind of friend. Just random stuff. I love it. All right. So let me go over here to these. I'm going to see if I can open this screen and kind of minimize it so I can still see your guys' pretty faces. Of course I can't. All right. Funny notes written by people who were definitely not pleased. You've been hogging up two parking spaces. You are the worst. I agree. That person is right. Look at this. Is your name Dave? Yes, my name is Dave. Thanks for the free drinks. Dave's for life. Don't drink those, Dave. Today on my sandwich, the bread was stale and the cheese was rotten. I don't know if that's like a note to mom or what the heck's going on there. Look at this one. Dog owning slobs. Act now to earn disgusting slob status. Leave your poop bag here or just defecate on the bench yourself. Same effect almost. I love these people. I had to watch that or read this in the middle of the week because I was just super bummed out, but you can't get any better than this, I don't think. Okay, hold on. There's more. Do not use. I spit in this since someone keeps using it. Thanks. I spit in it too. Since you're a jerk. And that person's a jerk. Why is that? Why is the person a jerk? Because they don't want you using their purchased groceries. Freeloaders. Stop dropping bread on the street. People who live here are fed up. This draws rats. Stop this. This actually is being watched carefully now. You were asked once already. We do not want rats drawn here. Do you understand? Somebody is not getting the message. They need a camera or something. We saw that one. Hello. I would just like to let you know that your parking space is not C because that one happens to be ours. Also, in case nobody ever taught you, the yellow painted lines on the ground are to be parked in between, not over. See below for visual representation. Not yours. Don't care. Ours. Park in between. I mean, this person went to so much effort to teach the person. I could totally be friends with them too. I mean, they went up, they got a marker. I guarantee you this person did not have a thick-tipped marker in her purse or whatever. That one, I could totally be friends with that person. You're right. Hi, I see you neglecting to pick up your dog's poop. I'm going to throw it. If I see you, I'm going to throw it at you. I have good aim. It will probably get in your. This person's practicing in the backyard. I just know it. Wanted justice with a side of fries. Somebody took their sandwich. You have 30 minutes before it gets towed. Don't park here. You don't fit. All right, that's pretty direct. Missing Ouija board doormat to apartment 15 and 16. Why the, I'm guessing hell, would you take our doormat? By the way, it's cursed, so have fun, jerks. Oh my gosh, I needed this too. Isn't that hysterical? And you know what? I'm the kind of person, you haven't missed much, Mike. I'm the kind of person who would return the doormat just out of fear of the curse. Is anybody else like superstitious that way where you'd think, oh, screw it, it's not worth the doormat? And the other thing is, if you live anywhere close by, don't you think they're going to find the doormat outside your door? They're not even good thieves. It's crazy. All right, next one. Do not park here. The wrath of the ancients will fall upon your head. Your shoelaces will not stay tied. Rabid squirrels will invade your home. Food in your refrigerator will mysteriously spoil. Your vehicle will start making that expensive knocking sound again, and no one will talk to you at parties. I mean, they had the sign made. It's like this sign on my front door. I'll have Don run out and take a picture of it when he gets home. I had a sign made for the front door because I was so tired of people coming to my house to sell things. Um, if I wanted to buy something, I would seek you out. I'm just that kind of person. I wouldn't just sit here wishing for somebody to come by the house. The snow has melted, but the dog poop has not. Please help keep our courtyards clean. Oh my goodness. Hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your bike. But seriously, people have been cutting locks and stealing bikes. Just a little FYI. If you don't put my pens back, I will consume your soul. Thank you for understanding. I will consume your soul over pens. This person is just, they're not playing around. Oh my gosh. If something is cursed, we've been taught to piss on it to get, my ex-mother-in-law, she was very superstitious. Her mother was from Mexico. And she came over one day and I was hanging laundry and, got my arms up and I was probably 7 months pregnant with my daughter. And she screams like somebody lit her tail on fire and put your arms down, put your arms down. You'll strangle the baby. And I'm like, in what world is my armpits or are my armpits connected to the umbilical cord? I said, Mom, it'll be fine. But she made me nervous enough that I quit doing it. Just fun stuff. You'll strangle the baby. Don't eat strawberries. You'll mark the baby. And my daughter has a strawberry birthmark, so she might have been right about that. I don't know who you are or why you keep leaving bags of crap here, but if you don't stop it, I will find you and I will kill you. Oh. Please keep the door closed. Thank you. Please don't use Comic Sans. We are a Fortune 500 company, not a lemonade stand. Oh my gosh. My ex-daughter-in-law told me one time we were coming into the house and she had just gotten my granddaughter to sleep and that was not an easy task. And she's like, if any of you makes any noise, I'll slit your throats. My husband still is traumatized by that. If you took my Diet Coke, you made me and this penguin sad. Oh, I don't know your name, but you have been seen stealing my butter. Put it back in the fridge or I will lick everything. That's some passive aggressive crap right there. I mean, people not even involved are going to get hurt. That doesn't seem right. Congrats on being the most important person in the world. I'm just assuming that's why you park your car like that. Dear Mom, my lunch tasted horrible for some reason. Love you. Stealing plants is a low and selfish act. What's next? Punching kittens. And I don't know what the obscenity is. My little brother, hi Christopher. My little brother used to lick his sandwiches so we couldn't take them from him. See, I would eat bugs on a dare, so that probably wouldn't work on me. I was one of those weird kids. Like, I dare you to eat a cricket. You got to swallow it whole. You don't want to. I have a thing about crunchy bugs. Grumpy Cat does not like people parking in his spot next time it's towed. Jesus didn't steal hot wings and pizza rolls, neither should you. JJ and Destiny. They are delicious. I couldn't figure that one out. My Trader Joe's green juice grew legs and walked off. Why? Please stop stealing my yogurt. This is like the 8th time. Please stop eating my hot dogs. Please put new food in fridge. Getting bored of the same old stuff. If you ever touch my laundry again, yours will be ruined. Oh my, somebody's going to go hog wild with some bleach. I just feel it. It's too funny. Hold on a second. I'm trying to stay caught up with comments here. I'm angry at you, and I'm not talking to you today and tomorrow, all day. PSS, I still love you. These are the kind of notes I should leave Don when I'm mad. He's like, how long are you not going to talk to me for? I'm like, I don't know. Extremely crabby 2-year-old napping. Please don't ring doorbell or you'll make his mom cry. Oh my gosh. Unless you are the USPS, do not disturb. I'm pregnant, cranky, and you will regret it. Seriously. These poor pregnant women are just losing it. Your bass speakers are amazing. Dear neighbor, your car's sound system is amazing. It's so loud, and the bass is so rockin' that it actually shakes all of the apartment buildings in the complex. Awesome. This is exceptionally rad when you pull up at 3:30 in the morning and wake up the entire community. Wicked awesome. We're all very impressed with your super cool sound system. Don't even think about turning it down. And when you pull up to the buildings, you share with hundreds of other people, your envious neighbors. That person has such a gift for sarcasm. I'm going to have to buy some Post-it notes, missed opportunities. Riding shotgun, if you do it, take pictures or it didn't happen. I want them emailed to me. My email is in the description. That's quite a parking job. I assume you did it blindfolded while a crazed ferret clawed at your privates. Printed this sign. That's such effort. I'm so impressed with these people who do look at the toast. Stop turning the toaster up. He scratched a sad face into it. Oh gosh, I need to be friends with these people. I wish they'd put their names and email addresses so I could reach out to them, have them on the show. Really, you couldn't eat 3 blueberries and throw the container away? Grandma, do not eat. Okay. I don't know what that is in that jar. It looks like sand. Like, is it remains or they just want grandma not to eat? And why would you tell your grandma she couldn't eat something that was in your fridge? Your grandma can always raid your fridge. I'm hoping that it's not actually grandma. Poor grandma. I don't know how you'd eat grandma dust, but you sing horribly. Signed, anyone who has hearing. Dan Bongino, that one's for you, buddy. He was talking today about his horrible singing. I could totally relate. FAO. What is FAO? Whomever keeps adding OG to the end of my door sign, stop it, Dr. Hedge. And then somebody put OG Hedgehog. What is FAO? I'm so bad at the abbreviations. Good morning to whomever has been enjoying my coffee creamer all week. Surprise! You've been drinking my breast milk. Hope you enjoyed. Cheers. P.S. It's organic. No worries. Gypsy says it's definitely grandma dust. Oh no. Poor grandma. Oh gosh. You've been drinking my breast milk. That's hilarious. When I was watching, I think it was I can't remember which grandkid, but it must have been Cole. Um, but his mom would bring him, and I had breast milk in my freezer for him, and so, I would get it out and warm it up and give him breast milk. Well, Donnie was our oldest. Donnie was in the fridge, and he saw all these little things. He's like, "What is that?" And I said, "It's breast milk." You have never seen a kid more grossed out in your life. I can't eat anything in that freezer now that there's been breast milk in there. I'm like, you drink regular cow's milk. I mean, that's cow boob juice. How is that worse than breast milk? He did not agree. He rather enjoys cow boob juice. You stole my sunflowers? God punishes you with arthritis. That's incredibly specific. Good morning. We hope your exorcism was successful last night. We do ask as a courtesy to us and the other neighbors on this floor that you limit expelling demons to Friday or Saturday nights. Thank you in advance. Look at this. Missing. Drawn from memory may not be to scale. My bike was stolen from my front lawn last week. It's a one-speed bike with a skull flag and lightning bolt on it. The lightning bolt and flag may have been removed. This bike was brand new from the store. No reward. I don't even want this bike back. I just made these flyers to tell you that I hate you, bike thief. I hope you ride my bike without a helmet and get hit by a monster truck. I hope my bike takes you straight to hell. Gosh. I hope my bike takes you straight to Oh, that's good. My stomach's hurting. We waited 30 minutes, no service. Oh my. Yikes. This better be the last time I pick you up here. Welcome home. I don't know what's going on there. Every breath you take, every move you make, every bond you break, every step you take is really audible through the floor. No, I did not watch Game of Thrones last night. Please do not discuss it around I totally can relate to that. This machine owes me $1.25. Judy, room 1180 North. Stop wasting your money on a path to diabetes and heart disease. She loses her money and gets judged. How terrible is that? There's probably things in there that are okay to eat. Bless her heart. No parking. No, you can't block us in whilst you get your pension, go shopping, put flowers in church, or have a heart attack. Really? Have you no shame? Jeez, they're hardcore. Warning, the last car to park here is still missing. Oh my gosh. Hiya, you suck at parking. Seriously, try considering others while you park. The world doesn't just revolve around you and your needs. Look, they've had these printed out so they can keep them in their car. It must be a big problem. FYI, the dishwasher is the white thing with the buttons on your right. The dishwasher is not the white, balding, middle-aged man named Brian. Thank you. This is perfect. I'm so angry I made a sign. I've never made a sign, I don't think. But if I made a sign, that would probably be the one. Have you turned off the soup? And what about letting the cats in? Oh, wow, she really didn't want her to forget. No, I don't know what that is. Put dirty clothes in me. Yours sincerely, Dirty Laundry Basket. P.S. I'm watching you. That is a frustrated mother, I guarantee it. Morning, kids. Mom and Dad are sleeping in this morning. Do not knock and wake us up before 10 a.m. unless there is a real emergency to answer your questions. Yes, you can have cereal for breakfast. Yes, you can watch TV and play Wii. No, you may not go to your friend's house. No, you cannot have a baggie of snacks from the pantry. Those are for lunches. Yes, I mean those ones. You can have an orange for a snack. This means one each. Alexia, don't antagonize your brother. Liam, don't be a whiner, or at least not too loud, not a loud one. We love you. See you no earlier than 10. My kids were always really good not to wake me up. They'd get up and make their breakfast, and they didn't feel the need to jar me out of my sleep. I'm happy that you're trying to help me, but please stop pouring the water in this vase. These flowers are artificial. If you use this microwave and make a mess, clean it up. Your mama don't work here. Want today's Wi-Fi password? Make your beds, vacuum downstairs, walk the dog. I've actually done that to my kids. I used to take their cords to their video games to work, to their players, machines, whatever those are called. There are 4 effing towels on the laundry room floor. Hang towel and reuse it. Not that fucking hard. Oh, I didn't mean to say the word. I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to put 10 in the swear jar. I'd never say that word. It's, I was going to have a glass of wine with the show, and it's a good thing I didn't, because we're 22 minutes in and I said the F word, and I'm blushing because I'm really embarrassed that I did that. Sorry. Please bring your dirty dishes into kitchen, rinse and put in dishwasher. We don't need ants. Love, Mom. P.S. Pick up after yourself. I shouldn't have to. You know what I used to do? If my kids left stuff lying on the floor, clothes, things like that, I assumed that if I had to pick something up, sorry, Chew Poop. I assumed that if I had to pick something up, it must belong to me. So I would take custody of it. Then if they wanted it back, they could buy it back from me at half price by doing chores. So if it was a $12 shirt, they owed me $6 because I had to pick it up. And they were old enough to be able to pick up their stuff. And I was working 4 12s a week. So we did that one. Please do not eat unless you get permission. Look at how they spelled permission from me. Okay, Sheila, we took $3 from your piggy bank. This cereal is now yours to control. Oh, no. Notice to all parents, due to an incident that occurred last year, there have been new workplace health and safety regulations implemented. Last year, Santa was injured due to a child not packing their toys away. All children need to ensure that all of their toys are packed away. This person doesn't know how to make a sign. It's way too long. If they are not, unfortunately, Santa will not enter the house due to the risk of injury. Children, remember to be on your best behavior tonight. Go to bed when Mom and Dad tell you to. I can still see you, Santa Claus. That's creepy. This is not a note to remind you that I love you. We just have no napkins left. Kisses. McKenna, happy birthday. Please shovel the front sidewalk. Thank you. I went to Madison. Put on some pants before Dad gets home. My dearest Emily, I came by tonight to retrieve your tooth and leave your payment. However, because of the condition of your bedroom, I had a horrible time even getting to your bed safely. Once there, I was unable to locate the tooth pillow due to the amount of pillows, blankets, and bodies in your bed. I will have to come by on a different night. Perhaps you can take the time between now and then to properly clean and organize your room. I bet if you ask your mother nicely, she will even help you. Much love, the Tooth Fairy. Oh my. Hello, Sarah. My name is Diesel, and guess what? I take Diesel. Love you, Diesel. Oh wow, look at that. There's a way to do it. A lock on there. The dish, we read that one. I can't read that one. Wait a minute, but it says murderer. Hold on. Dear murderer, after you break into our house through the back door, feel free to use this conveniently placed murder weapon to complete your grisly task. We always like our guests to have what they need. Mr. Casa Su, oh, my casa, mi casa, su casa, the Schmitz. P.S. The butcher knives are right behind you. Are they trying to teach their kids to lock the doors when they come in? Kevin and Molly, I worked very hard on this kitchen today. The counter and sink were clean and empty. I also washed the floor. If you don't leave the kitchen the way you found it, I will punch you in the throat. Love, Mom. They are taking passive aggressive to a whole new level. That's just aggressive. That's not even passive aggressive. Defund the liberals. Welcome to the chat, my friend. But we should have a wine night and read these. Oh my gosh. I've not figured out how much I can drink without being totally stupid since my gastric bypass surgery. Because we went to our oldest son and daughter-in-law's house and did a very late Thanksgiving, like last month. And I hadn't had any alcohol. I don't drink much anyway, like maybe once a year. I'll have a glass of wine, maybe twice a year. It's not often. And so they had Moscato, and I don't generally like sweet wine, but I can't drink red because it gives me migraines. So my daughter-in-law poured me a glass of Moscato, and I'm one of those people that's just fine until I'm not, and then I'm just all the way messed up. And that's how it was. I was sitting there, and all of a sudden I was dizzy, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to get to the couch safe. And so she sends the wine home with me, and I was fine after that. After I drank that first little glass, and it wasn't. I mean, it was maybe 2 ounces. It didn't take much. So yeah, I would get talking and forget how much I drank, and then I'd be really stupid. Um, I think that's the last one we're gonna do. The how to make ice is pretty funny. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you are looking for a maid to clean up after you, I can tell you I don't do that. But what I do have are a very particular set of skills I have acquired over a very long time, skills that make me an expert in home Wi-Fi systems and cellular data plans. If you clean up your own kitchen mess, that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you. I will find you, and I will disconnect you. That's that. Oh my goodness. Hey, Roy Rat. I haven't seen you in a while. Bless your heart. All right. So now we have news. Don't you just want to say to heck with the news? I mean, I've already said the F word and will not be able to rehabilitate my reputation after that. What are you going to do, right? All right, let me close this one. Oh, I didn't close it. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to be honest with you guys. No, I did not watch the State of the Union address last night. I've been super bummed out about the news about my heart. I know I'm generally not a person who gets down about my health, because if I did, I would be down a lot of the time because I just have not had good health in a long time. It's not, I'm not, that's overstating it. It's just always something. I don't know. Are you guys like one of those? I notice that there are people like me that it's just always something. And then there are people like Don who never get sick and nothing ever goes wrong. He has a blood pressure issue now, but that's the only thing. He's had a hernia surgery, the blood pressure thing, which we've got under control, which I did by myself because he doesn't have insurance. And the occasional sore throat, sinus infection, just little, piddly stuff. For 63, he's doing great. And every goofy, weird thing under the sun seems to get me. So for anybody who missed Wednesday, I went to the cardiologist for my regular checkup. I was just there not even 6 months ago, and everything was fine. Well, I told him, I said, I keep having these racing heart, symptoms where my heart will just take off out of nowhere. I'll be like 74 beats a minute and it'll just shoot up to 180. And I have to lay down because I get dizzy and short of breath. And then 15, 20 minutes, it passes. So they interrogated my pacemaker, and they put this little thing around your neck, and around the back of your neck, and it sits over your pacemaker, and they can go back through and look. And he's like, yeah, you are having a lot of these tachycardic episodes. And I said, I just feel weak and tired and out of breath a lot. And so they had done an echocardiogram, and that basically looked okay. I mean, I'm showing some age-related changes, but nothing huge, and nothing that would explain that. And so he's looking at my EKG, and he's like, huh. I'm like, huh, that's never good. Why are you doing? And I love my cardiologist. He's totally awake. He knows about the shots. He's diagnosing young people with POTS left and right over these shots and cardiac issues. And he said, you have a pre-excitation pattern. Of course I do. If it's something I've never heard of, I'm sure I've got it in there somewhere. And so what we discovered is you have different pacemaker nodes in your heart naturally that send signals across the heart to make the heart beat. And I have an extra one that apparently is there from birth. It's a congenital defect, and it's causing Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome, which is causing my heart to go into these really fast dysrhythmias called supraventricular tachycardia. So I have to go. I see the electrophysiologist like I think the 4th of April or 2nd of April. And then he'll set me up to have an ablation done where they'll go in through my groin up to my heart. They'll find the areas that are not supposed to be there that are misfiring, and they'll either burn them or freeze them so that they'll stop. And it's curative, 95% curative. I just don't want to do it. And I've been really bummed out about it, like depressed about it, sad and weepy. And I'm not usually like that. And Don was so sweet last night. I said, I can't believe I've got this thing that if it were to, so, before the shots, how athletes would drop dead in a game or just suddenly, you see it in high school a lot. That's what causes it, Wolff Parkinson White syndrome. And so I can't exercise because we don't want to trigger a dysrhythmia. Um, and it's just nerve wracking. I'm like, okay, if this kicks in, he's like, if you pass out, call an ambulance. And I'm like, well, I'd be passed out. How would I call an ambulance? But he's like, we'll get you right into electrophysiologist. They'll do this procedure. It'll cure it. I just don't want to have anything else done. I mean, in this last year, I've had a shoulder surgery, had to have my gastric sleeve revised to a bypass. I've had kidney stones that resulted in sepsis. And now I got a heart thing and I'm just over it. I'm sorry to hear it too. I feel like you guys are like, there's no way. But a lot of people actually messaged me and had a family member who had Wolff Parkinson White and had the ablation and have had no problems since. So it'll be good because I won't be getting dizzy when I'm exercising. And I was riding my bike the other day and I had to stop. I got dizzy and I just felt really odd. And that was one of my really fast rates, heart rates. I survived an angiogram, and even as terrified as I am about medical torture, it was nothing like I thought it would be. Very easy. Okay, that makes me feel better. I appreciate that. At Penny Whitbroke, can I ask a favor? A late night rumbler gamer who I am close with, kind of like a niece to me, has brain swelling on her frontal lobe that's causing temporary blindness. Bless her heart. She needs an MRI and has set up a GoFundMe for the expense. Can I share the link? Absolutely, yes. And thank you for asking me first. I appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely. So let me read that again, just so everybody heard what it is. So it's a gamer friend of Roy Rat's, has brain swelling on her frontal lobe that's causing temporary blindness, and she needs an MRI. Gosh, she's going to probably need a lot more than an MRI. But yeah, definitely share that. Sometimes, depending on what it is, it sounds like she's had a CT scan at least. Sometimes you'll get the little, there's little vessels, I can't think of what they're called. You can have shunting in one of them. But anyway, there are these little tubes that fluid drains out of the brain into the spine so that you keep a normal pressure in your brain. And sometimes those will get blocked and they've got to go in and put a stent in to keep them open. But we'll see what exactly is causing her swelling on the frontal lobe. Bless her heart. I hate that. Yeah, definitely put that up there and you guys, if you can afford to donate to that. If not, please pray for Roy's friend. All right, so news. Oh, yeah, that's what I was telling you. So I didn't watch the State of the Union because I was feeling sorry for myself, and I get to do that every once in a while. And but I watched all of the takes on it today, and apparently it was a show. Yes, thank you for those prayers, defund the liberals. Okay, so let me do my first story here. We've got quite a few to go through tonight. Is it this one? Yeah. Oh, this isn't the State of the Union, but okay, let me see if you guys can see that. I got to figure out how to. That's crazy. Let's see if I can fix this so you can see it. Nope. Sorry. I did all this before, but apparently it didn't take. Ay vey. Okay, we'll see if I can read it to you. So the Supreme Court's immunity hearing leaves prospect of pre-election Trump January 6th trial in doubt. So I'm just going to tell you about this. So what's going on? This is the immunity hearing. So Trump is saying in the Jack Smith case, and that is the Jack Smith case is the insurrection one, right? Or is that that's the insurrection one. So Trump's investigating the election fallout and all of that. And he he is saying that in his investigation of that, um, that he would be immune because it is part of his official duty to do that. And I would agree. I would agree no matter who, we've had this in the past where they've gone through and investigated elections. And I supported that even then, even when it was Democrats. So I'm not both ways on that. Um, oh, you were watching when Robert Goivea did a shout out. I love that guy. He does such a good job. Here's the link for Roy Ratz. Her name is Lynn. That needs the money to get the MRI, bless her heart. Also, if she doesn't have health insurance, she may qualify for a Medicaid card. So have her reach out to the hospital or the Cabinet for Families and Children and see if with her income level she qualifies. Also, there are programs at hospitals if you don't have enough money that are charitable programs that will help you pay for things. So consider both of those things. If you have any questions, email me. Being a nurse, I know about these things, and my email is in the description section. But anyway, so Democrats are screaming, and uninformed people are screaming that she got the CT yesterday. Okay. They are screaming that if this, so it's before the Supreme Court decided to take up the case. Trump is saying, as part of my official duties, this is part of what I have to do. And you can't try me for something that is that I've done in the course of my official duties, which is true. Hey, babe. There's my sweet podcaster girl. Which is true, because if you think about it, if he has to worry all the time about being criminally charged for doing things that are part of his official duty, then you're really held hostage as president. You can't really make a decision, have any autonomy in decision making without worrying that you're going to be prosecuted after you're done. They say hi, babe, and welcome home. Well, thank you. And so the Democrats are making this argument that, well, Trump could walk into the street and, eat a baby and he wouldn't get any trouble for it. Well, no, that's not right, because it's not part of his official duty to eat babies. That's other people. And so, no, he would absolutely get in trouble for that and be prosecuted for it. So I think he's right. We'll see how the Supreme Court decides on it. But the bottom line on this article is that it's delaying the trial, and they're wanting to get a conviction in before the election. And so they're just all tore up about this. And I think it'll probably be maybe late spring, early summer before we have a decision. We'll see. This is probably bad advice, but I got MS and lost my job. Now I get MRI under state paid insurance. I'm not very proud of that. Well, don't feel ashamed for that. You worked, you paid into the system, and sometimes you get disabled and I'm on disability from getting beat up by a patient having a spinal injury. So yeah, don't be embarrassed about that. That's what the safety net is there for. So I think that situation is going to, not play out here for a little bit, but I'm hoping the court makes the right decision on that. And as I've read it, and if you don't watch Robert Goivea, he goes through all of these documents and reads the arguments, and it's just so educational. If you don't understand what's going on, Robert Goivea and Megyn Kelly are doing great coverage. Robert actually goes through the filings and explains them as he's going through what they mean, what the case law means in relationship to that. So you can really learn a lot. Or you can kiss me. Hi. Hi. Do you have a good day? You look great. Yeah. Thank you. Do you like my new shirt? That looks lovely. Thank you. It's so colorful. It's got a little puffy sleeve. Look at this. Oh, isn't that cute? And yes. It covers the part of my arms that I'm self-conscious about. Will you do me a favor? Yes. Will you go outside and take a picture of the sign that's on the front door and email it to me? Email it or text? Yeah, email it so I can open it here. Okay. Thank you, babe. Can I ask for prayers on here? Absolutely, you can ask for prayers on here. I've been thinking about doing a little thing at the end of the show where we would put up prayer requests so people could kind of screenshot that and know who we're praying for, because we're active prayers in this group. Is your spinal disability the result of a huge wayward boob? No, I did not. I was not injured by the lady who hit me with her pendulous breast. I was injured by an eye doctor who punched me in the head, knocked me down, and then kept punching me in the head. And I had a C4, 5, 6, 6, 7. I never can remember. It completely blew up those discs. and so that's what happened there. But anyway, we won't know anything on this case. I just wanted to kind of keep you up on it that the Supreme Court did agree to take up the case. So now we've got news out of Fulton County that's not Fannie news, but let me share that with you. I need to find, hold on. Well, I need to find the right person for a situation, hoping that person will see the situation and have a soft heart and say, yes, I think I kind of know where you're going with that, lady. Be good. And I'll definitely be praying on that. You guys, if you can screenshot that and pray. Oh my gosh, was who on crack? I missed something. Somebody's on crack. I don't know who's on crack. I'm going to put that prayer request back up in case people didn't get a chance to screenshot it. All right, let me share this screen with you. Make sure you can see it because my alignment's all weird today. Fraud against my family. Yeah, that's what I thought. So this one is, it turns out that Fulton County, despite all their protestations to the contrary, did not, there's evidence that they did not do any signature verification, which is part of their job. Hold on, I'm not getting this yet. There we go. And trying to keep the comments going. There we go. You're welcome, sweetheart. So let's just read through this one. Uncovered evidence indicates that Fulton County, Georgia, performed no signature verification on mail-in ballots in the 2020 election. This is by Jim Hoft of the Gateway Pundit. Evidence was recently uncovered indicating that no signature verification was performed of mail-in ballots in the 2020 election at Fulton County. At least 148,000 ballots were questioned in Fulton County following the 2020 election. These ballots were, now, so this is the Fannie Willis case. These ballots were identified as, or this is the case that she's saying, that they conspired to subvert the election results. These ballots were identified as without creases, indicating they were never received in an envelope in the mail, and had several other issues as well. The ballots had been hung up in court since the 2020 election. On Wednesday morning, Rasmussen Reports shared an affidavit where an individual in Georgia claimed that no signature verification was performed for the 148,000 ballots. I don't doubt this at all. So anyway, there's a court case pending here, Fulton County Republican Party versus Fulton County Board of Commissioners. Rob Pitts, Bridget Thorne, Bob Ellis, Dana Barrett, Natalie Hall, Marvin S. Arrington Jr., and wow, I don't know what that person's name is. So anyway, they're attesting that these signature changes weren't, or signature verifications were not done. We'll see where it goes. I don't know what recourse we have other than this lawsuit, and we'll keep an eye on that for sure. No kidding. Fulton had my mother as a mail-in. Wow. Oh, that's interesting that you know somebody in Fulton County. All right, next story. Okay, this one. I was excited to share this one with you guys. So Fulton County, let me see if I can move that just a little. Tired, babe? Did you get dinner? I did, babe. Okay. You'd been tough out of luck because I can't really get up and make you anything. He told me he was getting himself something. So sorry you're hungry. Grew up. Okay. So Kamala, this is the gist of this story. So Kamala Harris did this. Let's see if the video is in there. She's such a suck egg dog. Is shown exiting the U.S. Capitol 11:21 a.m. on January 6th. The DOJ later lied and said she was in the building during the riot and used this lie to persecute hundreds of Trump supporters. She also lied about it. I'm hoping they have the video in here. All right, let me just show you this one. So this is her leaving the building. The reason that this is important, let me see. So more than 100 defendants have been given the 1512 felony charge that could potentially land them in jail for many years, as the maximum sentence is 20 years of jail time. However, this charge is inaccurate, as no congressional session was being held But it appears now that neither of the two primary members, Kamala and Pence, were actually at the Capitol. So these are people that are under Secret Service protection, and that's how they can charge these people with 1512 felony charge, because they're saying they went into where these protectees were. And Kamala Harris even said that she and her husband were hustled off to a safe location, which is a total lie, because, and we can prove it, because of this. There's no sound. So you see a staffer over here. You see security, bottom left and right. Here comes security. Wait. Well, boy, that happened quick. It's coming. Okay. There comes a staffer. There comes security, Kamala Harris, another staffer, Secret Service. The guy not holding anything, according to Dan Bongino. So she's left the building at 11:21. There's no way she was there. She lied and said she was there and that she had to be hustled off. That caused people to be charged with this like escalated charge, violation of this code 1512, and can put them in jail for up to 20 years. And she lied about being in the building and was not in the building. So there's that. Politico broke the story in November of 21 that Harris had left prior to any breach, and indictments claiming Harris was at the Capitol were inaccurate. Didn't matter to DC judges that DOJ inaccurately claimed in hundreds of charging documents Harris was inside the building before admitting the truth. The DOJ then focused on Pence, insisting he was still on Capitol property during the breach, but he was whisked away to an underground garage. The public and defendants have been told, although the exact location is still unknown. So anybody that would have come into the building after that could not be charged with 1512. Defendants cannot ask witnesses, including Secret Service agents, as to Pence's precise whereabouts to confirm he remained on Capitol grounds to justify the charge. So to me, if you can't validate that he was there, then you can't charge people with this. You have to have some basis of evidence. Now that charge, 1752, is under review by a DC appellate court. During oral arguments, the panel seemed inclined to kick one case back to the judge and require the judge, conviction after bench trial, to demonstrate foreknowledge of Pence's presence at the Capitol. So they would have had to known he was there, because that gives you intent. The basis for the most common misdemeanor, entering remaining on restricted grounds, was the presence of both Harris and Mike Pence at the Capitol. As Secret Service protectees, the area was automatically restricted, but now it looks like neither were in the building, which is just awful. I mean, you've got people that are still sitting in jail that have not even had their court dates yet, and we're 4 years down the road almost. All right, next story. I tried to order these a little bit better this week too. Fanny busted. Okay, if you missed the Ashley Merchant, so there was a hearing in Fulton County, Georgia, where a committee was formed of the different people in the legislative body, and they are hearing what's going on with this case, because they want to see if in their next session, they can't do it this session because it's too late, but they want to see if in their next session they need to draft legislation that would put safeguards in place so that the district attorney's office could not abuse its power. And so what they did was they brought in Ashley Merchant, and they just let her tell her story, which was, if you watched any of the testimony before Judge, what is his name, guys? Do you remember? McCaff, something, I can't remember. The white guy that overheard the Fannie Willis hearing. If you watched any of that, Fannie indicated that Ashley Merchant was lying and that Terrence Bradley's lying. And now people have come forward and they've said, no, Terrence Bradley told me this too. Other lawyers, a law professor, McAdams, thank you. You guys are so helpful. If I had money, I'd give you some. But anyway, there were so many things that couldn't be said at trial. Like Ashley Merchant couldn't take the stand and tell what she knows because she's a attorney representing one of the people, I can't remember his name, not Trump, but one of the co-defendants. And so they brought in Ashley Merchant and just let her sit down and tell everything. And you can catch that on Robert Goivea's channel. Um, it was definitely worth the listen. It's a couple hours, but she explains everything, how she got the information. And what's funny was a lot of people were thinking that maybe she got hi, Denise, were thinking that maybe she got the information from Nathan Wade's ex wife, but she got it all from Terrence Bradley. But my question is it seems like so Ashley Merchant and Terrence Bradley have been friends for a long time, and they ran into each other in a case that they were, I guess, opposing each other on. And he started telling her what he knew. Well, my thought is, I think the wife, which is Jocelyn Wade, I wonder if maybe some of the information that Terrence Bradley had is not from Jocelyn. So we'll just see. It was wonderful to watch. I'm telling you guys, I wouldn't advise you to watch something that was 2 hours long if it was not worth your time. It's riveting. And everybody's listening to her. At the end, there's a fella that's a Democrat, and he starts just making ridiculous arguments that really have nothing to do with the disqualification. McAfee, thank you. Um, and and so anyway, it just was a really good watch. I would, if you have not watched the Fannie Willis testimony, so if you go to Robert Goivea's channel, it's Gouveia, I think, on Rumble. He's also on YouTube, and sometimes the signal's better over there. Um, he's got them separated out. So you can listen to Fannie's, you can listen to Nathan Wade's, who's the prosecutor who she's sleeping with, Terrence Bradley's, and he's got them all separate. So you don't have to listen to the whole hearing at once. And it's Fanny's alone is worth the watch. Good night. She's a ton of drama, but she's interesting. She's endless entertainment for sure. Bradley did say that he thought Nathan Wade had treated his wife terribly. Yeah, he said that to Ashley. He wouldn't say it in court though. And because basically he felt threatened. So Nathan Wade had reached out to a friend of Terrence Bradley's before he came back to give second testimony. And then all of a sudden he couldn't remember anything anymore, and told this friend to remind him of his privilege because Terrence Bradley was supposedly representing Wade in the divorce in the early days. Well, what it looks like was really going on was that Wade drafted the whole divorce thing himself, and Terrence signed off on it because you can't submit your own paperwork, and that's how he was privy to the divorce information. But he was then trying to say that every conversation they ever had was privileged. He couldn't remember telling Ashley half the things that he text messaged her. Fannie Willis came in and just screamed and ranted and raved that Ashley Merchant was lying on her, those exact words. And she wasn't. This was all information that she got from Terrence Bradley, information that she got from, who's the gal that she lived in her condo? Oh, it's a strange name. Anyway, their two accounts, they didn't, I don't know if Terrence knew her or not. No, he didn't. Their two accounts matched up, which is very telling because they don't know each other, and yet their accounts of what happened matched up. And so that's kind of where we are on that. But there's more. Fannie busted, witness testimony. Fannie Willis visited Biden White House, met with Kamala Harris prior to the Trump RICO indictment. You cannot do this. This RICO indictment, she has to do the research and it has to stand on its own. She should not be coordinating with the White House. They shouldn't be involved at all, because then it looks like a political act, which it is. So the Georgia State Senate Special Committee on Investigations Wednesday morning heard testimony from Trump RICO co-defendant Michael Roman's attorney. Ashley Merchant is Michael Roman's attorney. In a previous court filing, Michael Roman revealed Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis financially benefited from a romantic relationship with top Trump prosecutor Nathan Wade. So this is part of the grounds for disqualifying her and Nathan. So they lied on it looks like they lied on their interrogatories. They lied to the court. They lied in their testimony. And they are officers of the court, which is enough to disbar you and put you in jail. And so there's that. Then there's this benefit financially, where he was paid more than the other attorneys. His billing is a hot mess. You've never seen billing like this. I had to have an attorney when I hurt my neck, and when I got billing for that, it was 15 minutes to research this, or 10 minutes phone call with me, or whatever. This guy's doing block billing where he's like, August 24th and 25th, 24 hours, $5,000 or whatever it was. He has no experience prosecuting any felony, which would disqualify him for coming in as a special prosecutor. And the other thing is that she was supposed to get all this approved through Fulton County. She has to go before the board or council or something. And she didn't do any of that. And had she done that, she would have been okay. She could have still slept with this guy. They wouldn't have approved him for the case, but she could avoid everything she's going through now, which is, she could very well lose her license over this. Hold on, I'm trying to catch up on your comments. It's not really good to let me click on them just one at a time. Bradley did said yeah. Make sure we got them all here. That it's Michael. Wait. I missed the one before that. Yurdi Kondo. Thank you. Yeah. Miss Yurdi. So Yurdi, who doesn't know this guy you see on the screen, who is Terrence Bradley, who was law partners with Nathan Wade, who was sleeping with Fannie Willis. And the other thing is, so Terrence Bradley and the other guy that was in the office were on what's called a taint team. And that is a team that goes through, so like, say there's some criminal cases where they have taken up a lawyer's phones and computers and stuff. Well, some of that is privileged information. So the prosecuting team cannot see that. The DA's office wouldn't be able to see that. So they put in place a taint team, and the taint team goes through and they look at what's privileged and they redact that. And then they give what is legal to give over to the district attorney's office. Well, here's the problem with that. They're all in the same law practice. Terrence Bradley's on the taint team. They're getting information from lawyers, part of which is privileged and needs to be redacted. And he's working in the same office and getting paid on the same contracts as Nathan Wade, who is one of the prosecutors. And the whole point of the taint team is to keep privileged information away from the prosecutors because they're not entitled to that. And it's just it's such a conflict of interest. It's unreal. So go the days of our lives. It is like watching a soap opera. I have been so fascinated by it. Okay. Merchant testifies on her conversations with Nathan Wade's former law partner and divorce attorney, Terrence Bradley. Merchant testified that Fannie Willis indeed visited the Biden White House and met with Kamala Harris prior to the Trump RICO indictment. According to the publicly available records, Fannie Willis visited the White House and met with Kamala Harris in February of 2023, several months before the RICO indictment. And there's the appointment. Fannie Willis previously testified that she did not visit the White House when she traveled to D.C., and there it is. And Georgia Judge Scott McAfee previously said Fannie Willis may be disqualified from Trump's RICO case. So let me explain a little bit more to you about that. So there's this RICO case, right? And we were really hoping that Judge McAfee is running, he was appointed by Governor Kemp to be judge in whatever capacity he's a judge. And yeah, it is an epic DEI fail up. Y'all are so smart. And he is now running for the judgeship that he currently has because he's just appointed for a time. And up until I think it was this morning or yesterday, he was running unopposed. So he said it would be 2 weeks to his decision, which was smart because in 2 weeks, that would have been the cutoff for when somebody else could submit to run. And then he would know whether he's running against politically. He would know whether he's got an opponent or not. If he doesn't have an opponent, he's obviously going to win, and he can give whatever decision he wants, whatever ruling in this disqualification. Well, boy, they just couldn't leave it at that. And so some Soros, Jesse Jackson, I don't know who the guy is, but linked to all of these people, just yesterday or this morning decided that he was going to run. And so now he's got competition. It's a black guy. Fulton County, apparently, the people in Fulton County voted for Fannie Willis to be the DA, and they supposedly really like her. And Fulton County is very diverse. And so the concern is now that McAfee has no way to win. What I would say to Judge McAfee is sometimes God protects us from things. And in your capacity as a judge, maybe this isn't your time. Maybe you going into a judgeship at this time would cause something that you can't foresee right now. And so I would make my honest decision and make my right decision and just know that some things don't work out and that's to our benefit in the end. I would not rule on this in a way where my opinion is swayed by the fact that I now have a competition in running for judgeship and try to win over the people in Fulton County by ruling for Fannie Willis. And so Fannie Willis, her team submitted a brief where they were asking, they were saying, if you do this, if you disqualify me, what might this do to all the other cases? And I'm like, okay, so you're corrupt. You're threatening me with your corruption. You're telling me that if I follow through on holding you accountable for your corruption, that a bunch of cases that have already been tried might fall apart. And so I better not try you for your corruption because it might turn out I was corrupt in a bunch of other things, and we don't want that to all come to light. That doesn't sound like a very good argument to me, and it sounds corrupt. you know don't bring my corruption to light because then more corruption might come to light and it could be a real shit show. Well, sorry. Right is right, wrong is wrong, north is north, no matter what. And had you not done that, we wouldn't be in this pickle. That is not on the judge. So we'll see where that goes. But it's a hot mess for sure. All right, next one. Hi, Steve. Wait a minute. Did we not close that? We did not. Okay. This one came out this afternoon, and the way I found out was because E. Jean Carroll, I follow her on Substack, so I can see what kind of nonsense she's up to. It's generally just stupidity, but, I got to have entertainment, right? Okay. Trump posts $91.6 million bond to appeal E. Jean Carroll defamation judgment. So we've talked about this before, where if you want to do an appeal, you have to post a bond. And the interest continues to accrue. It's just a nightmare. To me, that's terrible because what that does in a civil court setting is it puts you. I get that they don't want people just appealing everything because it would be a nightmare in the court. But to me, that disenfranchises people because if you don't have enough money to put up the bond to do the appeal, then you couldn't appeal a verdict that might be unjust just because of your financial situation. And that's what they're doing to Trump. So now he's got 91.6 million. I don't know how much of the bond he had to put up. But the money will be returned to Trump if he wins his appeal. And I think he will win on appeal. Judge Lewis Kaplan, a Clinton appointee, on Thursday denied Trump's second request to delay paying Carroll. Former President Donald Trump on Friday appealed a civil defamation verdict in favor of writer E. Jean Carroll. This is the case where she says that he raped her in Dorfman, I don't know what it was, in a department store a gazillion years ago with no proof at all. It was found by the jury that he did not rape her, but the judge has said that he did, even though the jury found that he did not. It's crazy. The appeal came days before, and there's no proof of any of it. The appeal came days before Trump faced a deadline to pay $83.3 million in damages to Carroll for defaming her in 2019. So this was before the verdict even. I don't even see how he could be charged with defamation in 2019 when we didn't even have a verdict on the civil case then. If he said something now, it could be considered defamation. But I don't know how you can pre-defame somebody before there's even a ruling. But apparently, you can do whatever you want. In January, a 9-person jury ordered Trump to pay a total of $83.3 million to each, and he didn't even get tried criminally for this. The judge just said, basically, you did it, and this proceeding is just to find out how much you owe for doing it. I didn't even know you could do that. Guys, imagine if this were you. Or ladies, imagine if this were your son or your husband. So a judge can just decide that I guess they did bring him up on an indictment, but he was found that he didn't rape her. And then they go, I don't know, the whole thing is just crazy and very destructive. And it is an abuse of the legal system. The Trump team argued that the evidence Carol deleted proves that she was receiving threats before President Trump ever commented on her allegations. Um, Judge Kaplan defended Carol and said Trump offered no evidence that he ever attempted to recover the deleted messages. Mr. Trump has offered, yeah, so supposedly she was getting death threats, but she deleted those. And so the judge is saying, well, um, we don't have any evidence that you ever tried to get those deleted messages, so you're SOL, basically. Mr. Trump has offered no evidence that he ever attempted to recover any of these messages through discovery or otherwise, Kaplan said, according to NBC News. In fact, he does not even argue that the messages in question have been permanently lost and are now unrecoverable. Well, how would you possibly prove that? This failure alone was sufficient basis to deny the alternative relief he sought. And here's the other thing: the defense only has limited subpoena power. I don't think they have subpoena power at all. Well, yeah, they have limited subpoena power. They can't get a search warrant. They can't do any of that because they're not the prosecution. So they're limited in what information they can get. Kaplan also said that even if Trump's claims about E. Jean Carroll's deleted messages are accurate, it's still not sufficient to warrant relief. So even if you had them, even if you had asked for them, I wouldn't feel any differently. The whole argument is moot. President Trump appeared in court in January as E. Jean Carroll testified in a trial where the jury will decide how much Trump has to pay for his so-called defamatory statement. So this isn't about her being raped or fondled or anything like that. This is about a defamatory statement that he made before the ruling was ever out. So I don't see how it could be defamation. Also, she's a public figure. And generally, you can't sue a public figure for defamation if you're also a public figure. Trump has denied the allegations and called E. Jean Carroll a whack job who's not my type. God love him. Under cross-examination by Trump's lawyer, Alina Habba, E. Jean Carroll admitted she deleted emails under subpoena. Okay, if you're deleting your own proof, she's saying she got death threats because of his defamation, but then she deletes all of those. I mean, to me, you then have no case. If I went to a lawyer and said, this person defamed me, and because of their defamation, I got death threats, but I deleted them all. There's not a lawyer I would be able to get to represent me in that. But, so goes our legal system if you're Donald Trump. And whether you like him or not, this should concern you, because if this is now setting precedent, there's legal precedent. In another case going forward, somebody could come back and pull up this case and say, well, this person deleted the email, the defamatory or the threatening emails, and she still won her case. So there's precedent for this. And other cases could go that same way without any proof. And that's part of why you don't want bad rulings on things. It's definitely why you want it to be able to go to appeal, and to inhibit appeal with such a lofty bond cost makes it very hard for people to fight it, especially when you're fighting more than one case. And in order to appeal, like the Letitia James case, he's got to have, I can't even remember how many million. It's like $486 million to be able to appeal that case. And that is so oppressive that it makes it is not just. I'm excited. I remembered the earlier stream time. Good job, Coffin. You're an hour late, though. You're going to get a demerit. I'm going to need a hall pass for this. I want to know what you were doing until 5:40. Former CIA Director John Brennan says Intel community will withhold key information from Trump's security briefings this summer. Former CIA Director and architect of Spygate, John Brennan, said the Intel community will withhold key information from Trump's security briefings this summer. President Trump will get Intel briefings after he secures the GOP nomination this summer. Brennan told MSNBC's Nicole Wallace, and see if they withhold these key information from security briefings. I can just see it happening already. They're going to say that he did something, and he's going to have done the something because he didn't know about the security briefing that they refused to give them. And then they're going to use the fact that he did the something, regardless of the fact that he wasn't told that there was a security issue, as grounds to impeach him. I mean, I can already see the ground being laid for it. Brennan told MSNBC's Nicole Wallace that his former colleague would give Trump analysis without sources and methods. It is somewhat surreal that an individual who is under indictment for mishandling classified information, I mean, I realize Joe Biden's not under indictment, but supposedly he did the same thing, is going to be getting classified intelligence briefings, but it is traditionally provided to the candidates for president by the sitting president. Can you see how problematic this is? He continued, I'm pretty certain that my former intelligence colleagues will provide briefings that are not going to do any type of damage to source and methods in terms of providing information to Donald Trump that he could misuse. But they will provide briefings and overviews of some of the world's hotspots, letting Donald Trump know what the assessments are. So you've got Joe Biden, who took items from SCIFs when he was not president, when he was, I think, even before he was vice president, and he still gets security briefings and will continue to get security briefings. Trump, who took his own work product, which he is allowed to take, is now going to be denied crucial information for security briefings. So if you give him a security briefing and he doesn't know the methods or the source, it's kind of like the PP tape thing. You give somebody that information, but they can't look at the methods for how it was obtained or the source of it to see if the source is credible. You don't even know if you're getting legitimate security briefings. Do you see where this is problematic? I think it will be analysis devoid of sources and methods, the kind of things he had in the bathroom and other areas of Mar-a-Lago. This is just ridiculous. Whoa, John Brennan just implied the intel community will withhold key information from Trump's security briefings once he accepts the Republican nomination this summer. They just said that. President Trump never compromised sources and methods. He lawfully stored presidential records at Mar-a-Lago, guarded by Secret Service agents, whereas Joe just had his in the garage and at UPenn and where all else, I can't remember, multiple locations. Um, According to special counsel Robert Hur, Joe Biden kept more than 600 pages of classified documents in unlocked drawers, closets at the Penn Biden Center, and stored some of them in dilapidated boxes in his Delaware garage and other unsecured locations. The FBI identified numerous folders, including many labeled Eyes Only v. POTUS, which contained highly classified material related to intelligence sources and methods. However, Biden was still not charged, and none of his aides, handlers, or gatekeepers were charged with obstruction or conspiracy, unlike Trump's aides. Mr. Biden's office did not lock, Hur said in his 345-page report, and the adjoining outer office where Mr. Biden's executive assistant maintained his files was always accessible through Mr. Biden's office. In a footnote, Hur added that the vice president's office could only be locked from the inside using a panic button, so there was no way to lock it, so anybody who walked through there could have access. Visitors from all walks of life, including dangerous actors from China and Ukraine, had access to the classified documents stored at the Penn Biden Center. But Trump is the problem, according to John Brennan. Of course he is. And it's so tough because you admit you're late. It's okay. It's okay. Hopefully you ate dinner. PJ says, I like to think that years down the road that no judge will consider any decision Trump related as precedent. Oh, I'm sure they will if we keep seeing these political indictments. The Democrats are forced politically to allow Trump to win. If that does not happen, the pressure cooker will explode. Imprisoning Trump will delegitimize the guy. I don't think they care. I don't think they care. I mean, as evidenced by their behavior. What have they done that shows that they care if they cause a huge uprising in the United States? I mean, they're willing to lie about what went on J6. They're willing to lie and say Kamala Harris and Pence were in the building when they weren't. They're willing to lie about the pipe bombs at RNC and DNC. I mean, this whole thing is just falling apart. You've got the Alvin Bragg case, which is very weak. You've got the Letitia James case, which is definitely going to get overturned on appeal. I'm sure the E. Jean Carroll case will. And now you've got the Fani Willis case falling apart. Their motivation does not look to be in pursuit of, upholding the law. It seems to be politically based, especially when you've got her lying about meeting with Kamala Harris. Just crazy, crazy stuff. All right, next one. Protesters, let me make sure you can see. Yep. The Democrats are forced politically. Oh, wait, I read that one. I wonder why that popped up again. Protesters shut down Biden's route to Capitol ahead of State of the Union address. So let me tell you something. The Democrats have stepped in it. Um, there is a big flaming bag of dung on their porch, and they are stomping it out furiously or trying to. They have got all these Antifa, radical, different groups of people who they enlisted to cause 90 kinds of hell during the Trump administration. And they lacked the foresight to see that these people are unhinged. And now these people are coming after them and they will not be stopped. And so, it's quite literally bitten them in the ass. Um, yeah, they do want us fighting each other. That is absolutely their goal. So, pro Gaza ceasefire protesters blocked Joe Biden's motorcade. I mean, did any of you see this on TV last night? I didn't. um, Route to the Capitol for his State of the Union address. Biden, Thursday evening, will deliver his State of the Union address, which he did. Far left protesters blocked the street and chanted, "Shame, shame, shame." Um, According to reports, Joe Biden wants to make freedom a central part of his campaign as his administration works to put Donald Trump in jail. Biden has also arrested over 1,200 Americans over the January 6, 2021 Capitol protests, including reporters. So, not reporters on the left that were there, but they just arrested a reporter from The Blaze who was there. It's just crazy. The Biden regime has destroyed thousands of lives in the process. Over 80% of those arrested did nothing more than enter the U.S. Capitol or stand outside the U.S. Capitol. The other thing is the reporter that they arrested from The Blaze while he was in the building was seen helping clean up and, doing all these altruistic things. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. I can't believe anybody can look at it and not see it. So further, with what went on last night, and I didn't see it last night, but I did see it today. Gold Star father put in handcuffs for protesting Biden during State of the Union over deadly Abbey Gate terror attack. A man identified as Steve Nakui, the father of Marine Lance Corporal Kareem Nakui, who was killed in the August 21st, 2021 terrorist attack on Abbey Gate at the Kabul airport during Joe Biden's retreat from Afghanistan. Good Lord, is there going to be any punctuation in this sentence? That killed 13 U.S. service members and about 170 Afghan civilians trying to flee. Good night. The triumphant Taliban was arrested and put in handcuffs by security at the Capitol Thursday night after he heckled Biden about the attack during the State of the Union address. That is one sentence, Donald. It's got to be Gateway Pundit. Yep. Listeners heard Nakui call out United States Marines and Abbey among other things, in the brief outburst. Nakui was reportedly charged with a misdemeanor. They arrested this guy, this Gold Star father, and hauled him out. I mean, after all of the protesting that they allowed, billions of dollars in damage to cities, to areas around the White House. They just have no heart. Nakui was the guest of Representative Brian Mast, Republican from Florida. I'm honored to have Steve Nakui as my guest at the State of the Union. He is the father of Lieutenant Corporal Kareem Nakui. A photo of Nakui in handcuffs was posted by USA Today reporter Ken Tran. The protester who interrupted Biden and yelled about Abbey after being escorted out of the House gallery was handcuffed. They handcuffed him. Video shows Nakui peacefully leaving the gallery when security intervened. Spectator reporter Matthew Foldy reported Nakui was charged with a misdemeanor. Foldy also posted an outraged reaction sent to him by Representative Derek Van Orden, Republican from Wisconsin, a former Navy SEAL. Quote, "If Gold Star families are being arrested and a member of Congress at Jamal Bowman was not arrested for committing a felony," remember Jamal Bowman's the guy that pulled the fire alarm, "that's not right." Representative Mast posted his approval of his guest's outburst. For the last 3 State of the Union speeches, Joe Biden refused to say the names of the 13 U.S. service members who were killed by his disastrous Afghanistan withdrawal. "I couldn't support this effort more. Say their names." The Sergeant of Arms is holding my State of the Union guest for yelling at POTUS in protest because his son was killed in action at the Abbey Gate due to Biden's incompetence. So much for the right to petition our government for the redress of grievances. Anyway, it goes on and on. Um, just, I mean, just the optics of that. Do they not even see the optics, what that looks like to people? You know, everybody feels for these families who lost loved ones, and it's just crazy. It's just crazy. I mean, they should have escorted him out, sure, because he's yelling during the State of the Union, but so were a lot of the people, the legislators that were there. Um, Denise said, "This is so sad. That dad lost his child. What happened to freedom of speech? It's a Bill of Rights. I understand escorting him out. Yeah, me too. What about all those idiots wearing white and clapping like seals? Yeah, they were so disruptive to me. I agree. I agree. I mean, they didn't arrest Marjorie Taylor Greene for yelling out about Lake and Riley. Okay, let me share this next one with you. We still got several more to get through. Make sure you guys can see. Yep. What about, oh, yeah, I saw that one. Okay. Biden threatens Supreme Court justices to their faces in the State of the Union address. Joe Biden, okay, I'm just going to tell you what he said. So 6 of the 9 justices were in attendance. Chief Justice John Roberts, along with Justices Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, Elena Kagan, Sonia Sotomayor, and Ketanji Brown Jackson. Retired Justice Anthony Kennedy also attended. And so he says, with all due respect, this is what he said to the Supreme Court justices, women are not without electrical power. Did he say electrical? Yeah. Excuse me, electoral or political. We are actually without electrical power. Um, I am not electrically powered at all. Excuse me, electoral or political power. You're about to realize just how much your, I guess he doesn't finish the sentence or he rambles off and they can't understand him. Okay, so this is what pisses me off about this. You've got all these people who are so tore up about that decision on Roe v. Wade that it didn't outlaw abortion, it just sent the decision back to the states for the states to decide. And what makes me mad about this, and I've said it multiple times, is that every Democrat president since Roe v. Wade passed has said that they were going to codify that into law. And so if they'd codified it into law, the Supreme Court wouldn't have been able to do anything about it unless the law violated the Constitution. But they didn't codify it into law. And Clinton said he would do it. Obama said he would do it. Um, Joe Biden said he would do it. Hillary Clinton said if she won, she would do it. And none of them did it because they want it as an election issue. They want to be able to say, Republicans are going to take away your right to choose. You need to vote for us. What they don't say is that we could resolve this entire issue by just codifying it into law. And this is true. The thing with Joe Biden saying something about it is even worse because that Supreme Court draft was leaked months before the decision was officially put out. So he knew for months it was coming. He could have acted with haste and gotten it codified into law. I mean, they probably would have even had the votes to do it. And he didn't do it because he wants to be able to piss and moan about it at the State of the Union. He wants to be able to defame I mean, talk about defaming speech. He wants to be able to badmouth the Supreme Court to their faces during an official State of the Union address when he could have fixed all of this. And he didn't do it just so he could do that, just so he could turn people against the Supreme Court. All the Supreme Court did was say, we don't really have the authority at the Supreme Court to make this decision. And in areas where we don't have the right to make the decision, those decisions are deferred to the state. That is how our Constitution is set up, like it or not. That is what they were obligated to do. And even, who's the one that died? She was like 150 years old. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Even Ruth Bader Ginsburg said that it was on very shaky ground and that if it came before the court, it would likely be overturned because constitutionally it was on very shaky ground and they have to make decisions based on their constitutionality. And that is exactly what they did when it came to them. And so for him to be so disingenuous and get up and blame this on the Supreme Court when he didn't do the one thing that they've all been saying that they would do to get elected. Oh, we'll codify it into law. We'll codify it into law. Then they get elected and they don't do it because they like it being unsure. They like women being upset about this. That way they can keep them in their voting demographic. And so just be aware of what your government is doing. No matter, I'm not taking a side on the issue. I mean, if you ask me personally, I would tell you where I stand, but just looking at it legally and constitutionally, um, and politically, the Democrats are the ones that these women should be mad at, because they could have fixed this a long time ago and didn't. And Joe Biden had a heads up and didn't fix it, which should really piss them off. But I don't know if they're informed enough to understand that. All right. Oh, this was an interesting one. Make sure you guys can see. Yeah. So Sheriff Grady, this guy's out of Florida. Um, Grady Judd reveals how U.S. federal government provides unlimited plane tickets to illegals for free to any destination in the U.S. So I thought that this meant, when they were saying that illegals were getting free transportation by plane, I thought this meant they came into the country or were brought into the country and they said, I want to go to New York or I want to go to Kentucky, and they were flown there and that was the end of it. That's not the end of it. They've got documentation that they can fly for free to wherever they want in the United States as many times as they want. Did you guys realize that? And so what Grady came out and showed is that there are these women who are being sex trafficked, and they're sex trafficking them to other states. So they'll set up a real expensive gig with somebody, who wants to spend a night with one of these women, and the women will fly for free to that area and do the dirty, get paid, and then fly back home. And so they're taking multiple flights, um, to push sex trafficking, basically. I mean, it's crazy. I couldn't believe that. I'm like, well, no, you get the one flight to where it is that you want to stay and set up your life. Oh, no, no. You can just keep flying and flying and flying. I mean, it's to the point that I'm really tempted to go across the border, lose all my paperwork, come in, and just for the travel perks. I mean, I didn't realize I could just show this documentation and fly wherever I want, whenever I want. Isn't that crazy? I lost service driving around in the boonies with my daughter on her learner's permit. How cute is that? God bless you. You guys say a prayer for Enlighten. They've got a new driver in the house. I know how stressful that can be. I'm sure she'll be fine. Yeah, isn't that crazy? I didn't know that either. I was just blown away when I read that. Okay, the next one. This is going to blow your minds. So Trump had passed this thing, and I don't know what it's called. Also share audio, yes. So Trump had passed this, or had legislation. I'll have to look how many of the kids on these planes are getting sold. Right, right. Well, these were grown women that were in this particular sting operation. Um, I mean, I don't know how grown they are. A 20-year-old woman is still a child, essentially. Um, especially if being exploited, because there's a lot of immaturity trauma that goes into being exploited, and so I feel like you don't have the normal wherewithal that a 20-year-old that came up in a stable way would have. So Trump was trying to make it illegal to sell child. If your kids are listening, they probably shouldn't be. Let me give you a minute. Okay. To sell child sex dolls in the United States. Trump thought this was a bad idea and did not want this going on. So I was just perusing Kentucky news and this came up. So I've been looking into this, and it's a scary thing to look into, because you're now putting that in your search engine. You don't know who's watching you. But I wanted to learn more about this. Do they really look like children? You can get them, like, say, if you pictured an 8-year-old in your head, what her physical development would be, because she's not gone through puberty. You can get a doll that looks like an 8-year-old little girl, flat chested, the whole thing. Also, this is being organized by the Cuban Venezuelan government to gain control of gangs in America. All the gang members are actually spies. Wow, salty Cuban cracker. If you've got any links on that, will you send those to me? Because I've not seen that. My email's in the description. So this woman, Kentucky Senator Karen Berg, is arguing that these sex dolls are a good thing. And I'm going to tell you about the conversation Don and I had about this too.
I was completely unfamiliar with child sex dolls. So I had, of course, to Google it last night. So a little scared to put it in my search engine, but I did. And apparently there is research on the subject. Not much. but there are what they call MAPS, minor attracted persons. And the limited amount of research that's done on these dolls, guys, suggests that they actually, for people who are attracted to minors, that these dolls
Look at the expressions. Hold on, that's really loud. Sorry. Look at the expressions on the other legislators' faces as she's talking. Hopefully, you guys can hear this. I'm going to turn it way up.
actually decrease their proclivity to go out and attack children, that it actually gives them a release that makes them less likely to go outside of their home. And what was interesting is the research did not support the same conclusions for people who were adult attracted using dolls. That did not diminish their proclivity to engage other people, but for those with the, so I'm just a little concerned that, and like I say, the research is not very good. It is not comprehensive, but the research that is out there is conclusive. It's completely unfamiliar.
So the research that's out there is not very good and it's not comprehensive, but it's conclusive. The chat screen's frozen. I I don't know what to. Maybe you could hit refresh. I can't. There's nothing I can do about the chat screen on my end. Um, Let me see what I can see over here. If I, yeah, it looks like I'm right where I'm at. Gosh, I hate that I'm so far over in the shot. I need to go more towards the stove. Okay. Um, so anyway, Don and I were talking about this, and I said, well, if this were to make it safer for children because it would kind of diffuse this terrible behavior, um, would that be a good thing? Because I think about all things. I don't just follow what somebody tells me to think about something. I actually research it and I think about it myself and pray about it. And so, the faith side of me says this is horrible. We should not encourage this kind of behavior. But I wanted to talk to Don as a man, and yeah, they are pedophiles. Not well, if they haven't acted on it, they're not a pedophile yet. That is a criminal categorization, I think. Um, there's just I don't know how that works. That's what they're trying to say anyway. So Don and I talked about this and I did some research about it. And Don's theory on it was the thing is, if you've got something not right that's going on in your brain, the more energy that you give to that, the bigger it gets. So if you're drinking and drinking is problematic for you, the more you drink, the more it takes over your life. If you are a sex addict, um, the more you focus on that, and the more porn you watch, different things like that, the more that consumes you. And he was just explaining to me how the male brain ruminates on things. And he said, just as men, we think about sex a lot anyway. If I were constantly feeding my brain inappropriate material, then I would think about it even more. It's not like a release valve. It doesn't make it less problematic. It makes it more problematic. And I thought about the science of habituation. So, the science of habituation um, is about habits, and it's about how we can get into um, either positive or negative patterns in life based on the habits that we get used to following. So, there's a book, I can't think of, I think Jordan Peterson wrote it about getting up every day and making your bed, because setting that habit um, leads to other things, leads to you being more organized, leads to you getting a solid start on your day and being productive from the beginning. So it can be positive in that way. Just like teaching your kids to say please and thank you becomes a habit. And then they become polite people through exercising that habit. Um, Graduate from doll and go into real children, right? Well, yeah. I mean, I would be thinking that if a doll is this good, then how much more fun would a real little kid be? I think that's where it's going to go. I don't have any evidence to that. Um, I don't really want to do that research. Um, and so I won't. But habituation would say that the more that the person engages in this problematic behavior, the more they're going to want to engage in this problematic behavior, and soon the doll isn't going to be enough. Well, she makes this comment where she says studies show that this habituation isn't a problem with adult sex dolls. So a man gets an adult sex doll, um, and it doesn't make him more likely to go out and have sex with other women. It makes him less likely. Well, you have to look at what type of men would get an adult sex doll. They're probably men that have trouble getting a woman. This is why they've got this. And so it doesn't increase their likelihood of going out, because their likelihood of going out to begin with was not great. Um, and that would explain that, where she's saying, for a child or for a person who is attracted to children, it makes them less likely to go out and habituate. And I'm like, okay, well, first of all, you would have to assume that that person is telling you the truth about going out and seeking interaction with children. Maybe they're not having sex with children, but are they going out and watching kids more? Are they obtaining more child pornography in their internet searches? There's more than just going out and raping a kid to this story. And this woman is too stupid to I got to figure out where she's from, because I would love to do some research and go in and give a counter argument to this. But you could see every man in the room, and men are more visually driven sexually. That's just true, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you could see that everyone that was male in the room was just, I mean, maybe she's stupid all the time. And so they're like, oh gosh, Berg is talking again. She's an idiot. So it may have been that, or it may have been that this was just the most preposterous thing that they'd heard as well. And I think the idea that it's just sick. I mean, we shouldn't encourage sick things. Wouldn't it be better to get these people into counseling, to get them monitored so that they don't act out, to teach them strategies for not having this proclivity, if you can even teach those? I mean, data would tell us that people who are jailed for child sex offense are not recoverable. When you get them out, they can't be made better. So I don't see how a sex doll is going to help things, because studies show us that these people cannot be rehabilitated. And if you can't be rehabilitated, how then is the sex doll going to help? And it perpetuates this. When my daughter was little, and I think they still make them, um, they made these little outfits for little girls, and on the butt of the shorts would be very short. I mean, like short shorts. And I'm talking for like a 7-year-old. And the butt of them, there's a brand of little girls' clothes called Juicy. Who is making a brand of little girls' clothes called Juicy? And there would be Juicy right across the butt. Now, if you are putting writing on a little girl's seat of her pants, um, you are calling attention to her bottom. And you could see these clothes are available from infant on up. And it is just the most disgusting thing. I'm like, why would you be drawing attention to a little girl's bottom unless you're a pervert? And so I would have to buy her clothes, first of all, because the shorts were so short. I would have to buy her shorts from the little boys section, because those generally come down to about mid thigh, which is an appropriate length for shorts on a little girl. And I just was absolutely astounded that anybody would put writing across the seat of little girls' pants or shorts, and that Walmart would sell these. I'm like, who's thinking this is a good idea? I The whole thing is just disgusting. Yes, you are clearly with your tribe. We all are in agreement on this nonsense. Just disgusting, horrible stuff. Um, okay. Got a few more stories here. We're going to run a little long tonight. They are sickos. Okay, on the front, back to the whole illegal immigrants. FBI office in Miami is launching an urgent manhunt for Iranian intel officer accused of plotting assassinations of several Trump-era officials. On Tuesday, news reports began to circulate announcing the hunt for an Iranian named Majid Dastanji Farani. I think I did pretty good on that one. According to the FBI, he is wanted for questioning in connection with the recruitment of individuals for various operations in the U.S., to include lethal targeting of current and former U.S. government officials as revenge for the killing of IRGC QF Commander Qassem Soleimani. Ordered by former President Ordered by former President Donald Trump, Soleimani was killed by a U.S. drone strike in January of 2020 near a Baghdad airport. Officials on Iran's retaliatory kill list include former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, former National Security Advisor John Bolton, former U.S. Special Representative for Iran Brian Hook, as well as other current and former officials of the U.S. government. And there's the guy. You can't see him very well, but if you screenshot his name, you can probably look up that most wanted poster. The FBI said Farani is suspected of recruiting individuals for surveillance activities focused on religious sites, businesses, and other facilities in the U.S., and he may acting or is purported to act for or on behalf of, directly or indirectly, Iran's Ministry of Intelligence and Security, MOIS. Gateway Pundit spoke to Adrian, night these names, a scholar of the Middle East and terrorism. When an MOIS agent shows up on your shores, he said, everything should be blinking red, and you have to get nervous. There are any number of tasks the Iranian secret agent could have been assigned to, but the reason the FBI is looking for Farani is he is indeed an MOIS agent, is because they are the individuals who have traditionally carried out assassinations abroad. He offered several questions that must be answered. Does the FBI have a solid lead on Farani or his alleged plot? How did he get into the country, and how long has he been here? Is he even still in the country? Apart from those questions, he wonders if the FBI even knows his true identity. According to him, all MOIS agents use pseudonyms. Generally, he said, Iran's assassination operations would be set up by an MOIS agent coordinating everything that would need to take place, but in many cases, the agent would be out of the country when another team comes in and takes over to carry out the operation. According to Calamel's sources inside the Islamic Republic of Iran, stated goal is to drop an American official on U.S. soil for the Soleimani strike, which also killed Iraqi PMU commander Abu Mahdi al-Muhandis. Even with all the unrest in the Middle East and relative frequent attacks against our military and foreign interests, Calamel warned, we still have not seen Iran's response to the death of Soleimani. According to him, what they want to show more than anything is that they can come out and touch us on our soil just like we did there, and that should have all U.S. national security agencies on alert. Isn't that crazy? Most of the Iranians that are working in America work under the Venezuelan intelligence branches. Months ago, there was a lot of Iranians arriving to Venezuela. Where are you getting this information? I need to have Salty Cuban Cracker on to share this stuff. Oh, yeah, like we can trust the FBI or CIA. They're probably involved. Probably. I mean, I can't see them working too hard. Please quickly hide Biden. I can't see them working too hard to find people that are trying to kill Trump administration appointees. Hopefully I'm wrong. Okay, now we go to New York. Governor Hochul, she's what's funny is, so Governor Hochul has put National Guard in the subway systems, saying that there are threats, credible threats. What's interesting is when I read this story from CNN, it said that Governor Hochul reinstitutes bag checks at subways. They mentioned nothing about the National Guard. And remember when Trump was offering the National Guard to help different cities when all the riots were going on, and they were just going crazy saying that he was going to use the military against his own people? And here we have a Democrat New York City mayor, governor. What is she? She's the governor. Adams is the mayor. New York Governor Kathy Hochul has revealed a new plan to deploy 750 National Guard members in a desperate attempt to combat the rampant crimes plaguing New York City's subway system. Interestingly, the talk is that one of the conductors of the train stuck his head out the window. They look and see how many people they've got getting on, and somebody ran by and sliced him with a razor, and that's when they put this in place, because the union went crazy. When they were just throwing just citizens in front of trains, that was just fine. Hochul's new order adds to the 1,000 NYPD officers already stationed at subway stations across New York City's 5 boroughs. NYPD Transit Chief Michael Kemper revealed that arrests in the New York City subway system are up 45% from 2023. Like it matters because they don't hold them, they just let them go. Chief Kemper also, which isn't Chief Kemper's fault, Chief Kemper also shared that there have been over 3,000 arrests in the subway system in just the first 2 months of 2024. Violent crime is getting so bad in New York City subways that she has deployed 100,000 National Guardsmen. Um, she revealed a 5-point plan Wednesday to bring additional state resources to bear on combating subway crime in New York City. All this while Eric Adams is saying that violent crime is going down in New York. The plan includes the deployment of 750 National Guard members and 250 New York State and MTA police officers into the subway system and additional teams to handle cases involving people exhibiting signs of mental illness. The new deployment adds to the additional 1,000 NYPD officers already there. They're doing bag checks. Holtz is also calling for people deemed to be too dangerous by a judge to be banned from the subway. She's, how are you going to ban them from the subway? That's funny. She's pushing for a state law that allows judges to block a person from riding the subway or buses for 3 years if they are convicted of attacking a passenger, because they're law abiding citizens, so they're not going to do that. What's really interesting about this is for all of their screaming about guns and how traumatizing it is to people to see guns and that we shouldn't have all these guns, all these National Guardsmen are armed with weapons, visibly armed with weapons, and nobody's freaking out. Everybody seems fine about it. So much for their theory that this would just harm the psyche of Americans so much that they wouldn't be able to function. New York is finding out in so many ways votes have consequences. I hope they're figuring that out. Hochul is certified witch. You just can't see the broom she rides because her asshole. Welcome to the chat. Why run naked? Oh, that's good. It was a deep slice. Saw a photo on X. Poor guy. Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree with them, but it's sad that it took the union getting upset to make this happen. When people were getting killed and raped and attacked and thrown in front of trains and all of that was just fine. We weren't going to do anything about it. But now that the union's upset, I'm glad it instituted the change. But okay, here's one you guys will just love. Hold on. We've only got a couple more. Dems drop $1 million funding plan for LGBT fetish center. So this is the kind of pork, so to speak, that your tax dollars are paying for. Okay. A congressional scheme by Democrats to send $1 million in tax money to an LGBT fetish center in Philadelphia has been derailed by Democrats. It was the Libs of TikTok channel on X that had raised questions about the $1 million earmark for the LGBTQ Center, which boasts rooms to try BDSM and sex fetishes and hosts BDSM and sex kink parties. As a result, a letter from Democratic Senators John Fetterman and Bob Casey asked that the money be pulled from a piece of spending legislation pending before Congress. The Washington Times explained it was exactly the type of embarrassment Congress hoped to avoid as it took another spin on the cash carousel known on Capitol Hill as earmarking, by which lawmakers redirect some of the usual spending to specific projects in their home states and districts. Earmarks used for years were banned some years ago by Republicans, then returned by Democrats in 2021. They still face opposition from conservatives. We cannot support forcing Americans to fund earmarks that waste $1 million on an environmental justice center or $4 million on a Green New Deal police station, while 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck because of reckless government spending, charged Ryan Walker, executive vice president at Heritage Action. The overall bill, which now is in the Senate, pays for the Department of Veterans Affairs, highways, food stamps, the FBI, and the EPA. How did this even get in this bill? They just slip it in there, hoping it won't get noticed. The Philadelphia Center was cited on X for an apparent advertisement for a play party. A report on them said the letter requested the removal of the funding, but after taking fire from liberals, Fetterman backtracked and said the letter was generated by staff members. He said he would work to restore the $1 million to the fetish center soon. Well, thank God. Maybe they can get some child sex dolls in there. The senator's about face came mere hours after Chaya Reichik, founder of the anti-LGBTQ advocacy group Libs of TikTok, posted about the William Way Center on social media. Reichik alleged that the center boasts rooms for BDSM sex fetishes. They have a partnership with the Aviary, a local kink group that has hosted semi-monthly events in the center for nearly a decade. This is your tax money. Casey's office stood by the change, insisting that the highest level of scrutiny must apply to projects that use tax money. Fetterman said even though he supported it, the funding likely had to be removed for the bill to survive. The choice was either to pull it or watch it get stripped out, attacked by Republicans, and ultimately killed. But yeah. The Philly Voice reported that center officials denied anything was wrong with activities at their location. I don't care what you do at your location, but taxpayers shouldn't have to pay for it. But the report noted that there was an additional complication. Meanwhile, over the weekend, Darius McLean, the chief operating officer of the William Way Center, and his wife, Selena Morrison, the executive director of the city's Office of LGBT Affairs, were arrested after a traffic stop. The state trooper involved has been placed on restricted duty while the incident is investigated. He's being placed on restricted duty for a traffic stop. Philadelphia Mayor Sherelle Parker called the incident very concerning. Commentator Jesse Waters stood up the subject in a video, pointing out Congress plans to spend $850,000 for bus stop equity in California, $1 million for a solar-paneled jail in the South Pacific, $100,000 for an internet cafe in Oregon, and $15 million to strap ankle monitors on cows. Why, he wondered. They are 1,000 pounds and slow and they're fenced. He even noted that the late Senator Dianne Feinstein of California had one for $5 million for a shooting range. Wow. Just wow. I hope I closed the right one. Oh, no, I didn't. There we go. Perv command center rolling eyes. Yeah, isn't that crazy? All right, what did I close? Here we go. X. Here we go. Make sure you guys can see. Yep. Ex-con turned criminal justice reform activist is busted for murder after severed head is found in apartment freezer. That's a good one, huh? An ex-con turned we already read that. As the New York Post reported, Sheldon Johnson, a 48-year-old staffer for the public law firm Queen's Defenders, was arrested and charged with murder Thursday after cops found a dismembered body inside a sixth-floor Bronx apartment. This included a severed head stashed in a freezer and a human torso in a blue bin. Johnson was caught on surveillance video at the crime scene, disguised in a blonde wig. The victim was identified as 44-year-old Colin Small. Police say he first met Johnson while both were doing time at Sing Sing Prison in Westchester County and possibly had an ongoing feud with the suspect. Neighbors told cops the victim was heard desperately pleading with his killer shortly before two shots rang out in the apartment near Ogden Avenue and West 162nd Street shortly after 8 p.m. Tuesday. "Please don't," the doomed man was heard saying. "I have a family." Investigators were first called to the building for a wellness check after the shots were heard, and neighbors reported seeing a stranger coming and going from the apartment with cleaning supplies, the building superintendent said. "I said, listen, I want to do a welfare check on a tenant because the person who is coming in and out is not the tenant," the super, who asked not to be identified, told the Post. The Post says Johnson was seen bringing in a blue bin at 2 a.m., but never brought it back out. The superintendent said Johnson left in the victim's blue Audi and returned in an Uber wearing a blonde wig. The police also checked the apartment but left without busting Johnson at first. Johnson was released from prison in 2019 after serving 20 years for a series of armed robberies in 1999. He then started working as a client advocate at Queens Public Defender's Office. While at the public defender's office, he also rubbed elbows with Marxist Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg, who shares his advocacy for lawbreakers. Rather than express remorse for his actions, the ex-con whined about how unfair his prison sentence was during an appearance on Joe Rogan's podcast last month and bashed the criminal justice system as a whole. Rogan agreed with Johnson throughout. Last month, Joe Rogan had prison reform activist Sheldon Johnson on to discuss the unfairness of the U.S. justice system. Johnson was just out after serving 25 years. He explained how unfair it was that he was in prison for as long as he was. I agree that we need criminal justice reform. Probably not for this guy, though. Probably not for this guy. All right, we got two more guys. Here we go. More on New York. Fed up firefighters greet leftist tyrant Letitia James with loud pro-Trump chants and boos during the sleep. I'm hoping they've got they don't have the video. I hate that. The people who protect and serve New York City. Wait, here it is.
Today we are making history, swearing in our first African-American woman chaplain of FDN Kavanaugh, and she hearkens for that recognition. And today we are making history, swearing in our first African-American woman chaplain of FDN Kavanaugh.
So as you can see, that did not go well for Letitia. God love her. All right, get my mic back down here. Yeah, they shouted her down basically, and you can't really blame them. I can't hear. There we go. You can't really blame them after everything she's done to the city. They're very upset about the ruling. What is it, 436 million or something Trump owes now? Craziness, craziness, craziness. Is our chat still frozen? No, looks okay. All right, last one. So, as many of you probably know, Mitch McConnell stepped down from his leadership position. Um, and our governor, Bashir, said that he was going to fill the position with a Democrat. And our state house went to action. Um, a state house committee advanced a bill to fully strip the Kentucky governor's power to fill a U.S. Senate vacancy just a day after McConnell announced he will step down from his leadership position. A Kentucky House committee advanced a bill Thursday to fully strip the Democratic governor's power to fill a vacancy in the state's U.S. Senate seat, one day after Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell announced he would step down from leadership. The Republican dominated state legislature had already passed a law in 2021 to shift such power away from the governor. Previously, the governor had the sole power to appoint someone to fill a Senate vacancy, but the new law requires the governor to choose from 3 nominees selected by the party of the senator leaving office in advance of a special election, which is only fair because a Republican's elected to that position. If he retires early, then the legislature should, as representatives of the people, be able to nominate 3 people and let them choose from them, rather than a Democrat governor being allowed to fill a Republican seat. Um, Republican House Floor Leader Stephen Rudy of Paducah said in committee his bill is more within the spirit of the 17th Amendment of the Constitution than the current law. Senators used to be selected by their state's legislature, but a 1913 amendment states that a special election shall be called in the event of a Senate vacancy. It also gives state legislatures the ability to give governors the authority to make temporary appointments to fill a vacancy. God forbid we have any vacancy in a U.S. senator. I think that the people would want to decide who their senator was, Rudy said. McConnell announced on the Senate floor Wednesday he will step down as Senate GOP leader when his term in that role ends in November, though he added he will stay in office until at least January 2027. I don't think he's going to make it that long when his term ends. He has not yet indicated if he will run for reelection in 2026. I mean, he's worse off than Biden. Republican leaders in the Kentucky legislature expressed some surprise after McConnell's announcement Wednesday, as they had just hosted a campaign fundraiser for him a week earlier. That fundraiser was on February 20th, the day before HB 622 was filed. Bashir vetoed the previous bill to dilute his power to fill a vacancy, arguing that it violated both the state and federal constitution. He pointed out that Section 152 of the Kentucky Constitution states a governor shall fill vacancies in offices for the state at large with appointments. Yeah, he can still do that. He gets to choose from three that the Republicans pick. If it were a Democrat, he would get to choose from three that the Democrats picked. After McConnell had multiple health scares last year, including freezing up at two press conferences until aides and colleagues stepped in to assist him, Bashir refused to directly answer whether he would follow that law in the event of a Senate vacancy or challenge it. Spokespersons for Bashir did not immediately return a request for comment on whether he thinks the bill is constitutional, but the governor did slam the bill as a partisan effort to tear away his power. Yeah, his power. He's not a representative of the people. He's not a public servant. He has his power is getting torn away. This is the same guy who basically deputized the health department to force quarantine people who went to Easter church services in their cars to listen to a church service in a parking lot, in their cars with the people they live with. I mean, he's just, oh, you just, I'm not a fan. If we are just dominated by trying to create a result of what letter someone would have behind their name if appointed, then we are not performing or engaging in good government. Oh, so is Bashir telling us that he would put a Republican in? No. Governors in 35 states are allowed to fill Senate vacancies without any restrictions. Only 4 states do not allow governors. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter, doesn't matter. This is this state. These are our representatives that are making doing this legislation. I think this is well within the spirit of and follows directly. This is what from Rudy, the 17th Amendment of the United States Constitution, which trumps the state constitution in these matters. Rudy did not mention McConnell in his remarks, but joked that he could see a scenario where one of our United States senators accidentally gets elected president of the United States, and that would trigger this law at that point as well. After the vote, Rudy told reporters his bill was not a conspiracy, as he proposed the same bill in 2021, preferring it over the current confusing and convoluted vacancy law. He said his proposal was spurred by the case of former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich, who was convicted of public corruption for his actions to fill a Senate vacancy there. I just don't think the governor should be involved in this because the people should be able to elect a United States senator should there be a vacancy, just like they can elect them through the normal process. I mean, the only other thing would be to hold a special election, which is far more expensive. Fat Granny. Hello, hello. You guys are late. We're just finishing up. All right, guys, it is 6:30. We've been going for 2 hours. That's all I have for you tonight. Please keep Lady Be Good in her prayers, in your prayers. There's also in the comments below, not the chat comments, but in the comments that stay there after the video goes down, there is a GoFundMe for a friend of one of our viewers who is needing an MRI of her brain. So if you're interested, you can contribute to that. If you'd like to support the show, and thank you to those who, to the gal who gave a super chat during the show today, I appreciate that. If you'd like to contribute to the show, you can go down to the description section under the video, and you will find my PayPal link, my Venmo, and my Cash App, and you can donate that way. You can also donate monthly, which is very appreciated and doesn't have to be much. I have lots of monthly, well, I have several monthly donors that donate $5 a month, and it's very appreciated. Helps us not have to foot the cost of the podcast. Our goal is that it would be self-supporting. Also, my email is there and my website is there. You can go to my website and just see what's there. And you can get to me. You can message me also via the website, but my email is there if you need something. You have a question, you have an idea for a story. Also, Wednesdays, we are reading the book Storming Heaven. Is it Storming Heaven or Heaven Stormed? Let's look. I think it's Storming Heaven. Maybe it is Heaven Stormed. I can't remember. I think it's Heaven Stormed. Yes, Heaven Stormed by Randy Kay. And so we just started that on Wednesday. We start Wednesday mornings at 10:30. I read the first 5 chapters, I think. I don't think I read chapter 6. And so you can go back and catch up on that. I'll get that moved into a playlist. If you go to Rumble through the internet, so if you do rumble.com and go to Rumble, you'll be able to see playlists. And let me show that to you. Let me share our screen here. Okay, make sure you guys can see and that I don't get confused. Okay, so let's go just to my page here. Okay, so if you go to my page and you scroll down, let me see if you guys can see. Yeah. So if you scroll down on my page, you will see on my page it says save, but on your page it would say playlists. And so you can click on the playlist there. Let's go to rumble.com and not go in as a signed in person. Okay, let me sign out. And then I'll share this. Okay. Hold on, just give me a little minute here. No. Nurse Penny. Okay. All right, now let me share that. Messed it up here. Share screen. Let me take that comment off. Cancel. That way you can see the whole thing. Okay. Now we'll try this again. Nurse Penny. Okay. So if you go to this page and you go in via the website, you can't do it on the app and you can't do it on your TV. But if you go to the website, do you see there where it says Nurse Penny, bottom left here, and then it says all videos, live, playlists, and about. Okay. You can go to playlists, and I don't have the new one up yet, but I will get it up. And you can see all the books we've read. Okay. I think I've got them all in there. So if you want to listen to, we just finished Of Mice and Men, you can just click on that, and then both videos are there. And you have episode 1 and episode 2. I went back through and labeled them so it's easier for you guys to sort out. That way you don't have to go back and scroll through all the content of the channel to listen to a book. We've got Return of the Gods, excellent book. Imagine the God of Heaven was good. The Josiah Manifesto, so Return of the Gods and the Josiah Manifesto are both by Jonathan Cahn. Excellent prophetic books, wonderful history. Max Lucado, what is this one? Jesus, the God Who Knows Your Name was really good. The Giver was really good, appropriate for kids. If you've got teenagers, Of Mice and Men was used to be on the high school reading list. There's some offensive language in it, but I do a little disclaimer at the beginning. And if you've got little ones, we've got The Velveteen Rabbit, which was just chock full of beautiful life lessons. So there's that, and that will make it easier for you guys to find things. I know people were having trouble scrolling through and finding episodes if they got behind on the books. And that way you know that you can go and listen to all the books, maybe while you're waiting for another installation. But right now we're reading Randy Kay's Storming Heaven. Did I decide? No, Heaven Stormed. By Randy Kay, and we got through the first 5 chapters. Wonderful. Definitely come join us because that's starting out to be a really good book. I'm enjoying it. And that's Wednesday mornings at 10:30 and then Eastern, and then we're here Friday nights at 4:30 or Friday afternoons at 4:30 Eastern. I think I gave you all the other information. If you need something, just go down to the description and you'll be able to find me. So let me pray us out. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this week and for everybody who watches the show, either live or on rewind. I just pray that you would bless each of their lives. I pray that you would bless Roy Rat's friend who's struggling with swelling in the front of her brain, that doctors would be able to find the cause of that, and that you would just lay your hands on her and bring her to complete restoration and healing and give her comfort um, and love as she's going through this stressful time. Surround her with family and friends and people to get her over this hump because it is hard to be having physical medical problems. Father, we pray for Lady Be Good that you would bring the right people into her path to help her surmount this issue that she's struggling with in her family and in her life. And just, I pray that all the viewers would pray for each other because it is important and it does help and it does matter. Father, most of all, I thank you for your son Jesus, for the sacrifice that he made for us so that we could be together with you in heaven. And we thank you for all these things. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, guys. Also, thanks to everybody who donates to the show. I really appreciate it. It means the world to us. It is so good to be getting close to where we're not footing the cost of the show, which has been tough on us for a couple years. And so, um, again, we really, really appreciate those donations, and that's what they go toward. Um, we're not out buying fancy stuff with them. Hi, Ashley. Um, I'm reading the Britfield series, Good Kids Books. I will look into that. I'm always looking for books to buy for my grandkids to read. Um, Thank you to everybody who supports the show in prayer. I have some wonderful prayer warriors who are just excellent at lifting me up in prayer, people that I can reach out to when I'm struggling with a spiritual issue. And they keep that in confidence and hold me up in prayer and walk with me through it. That's always so important because then we see the resolution together. We see the answered prayer, and that's just a wonderful blessing for me, and I really appreciate it. I know a lot of you pray for my family and my marriage and my health. I appreciate the prayers for health. If you missed the beginning of the show, we found a heart problem, and I'm going to have to go in and have some areas of my heart ablated, either frozen or burned, because they're sending wrong signals through my heart, and it is causing me to not feel well at all. Um, and that's probably coming up in April. I'll keep you guys posted on that. Hopefully, I won't be down too long. The procedure is curative, so that's happy news. Just a little scary to have anything done to your heart. So I appreciate you guys praying for that. Still struggling with the kidney stones. I'm going to start selling them as jewelry. I might as well make a living on it, right? Just kidding. All right, guys. I love you whole big bunches. I will see you on Wednesday. Nurse Penny out.